So yeah, unfortunately my phone just ran out of storage space, so the video was cut short. However, I don't feel like doing the whole 6 minutes over again, so I'm just going to continue on for here, make it a kind of part 1, part 2 sort of deal. But yeah, the shop I was talking about, it's a newer shop. The books are significantly more expensive, as you can imagine, so it's only getting a 4. Good selection, high prices. Compared to the charity super shop, the selection is much higher, but the price doesn't make it worth it. And with that said, the 7th shop that I went to, and I actually made a mistake earlier in the video, there wasn't 7, there was 8 shops in total. So the 7th shop I went to is actually one that I've not been to before. It was a small antique shop, however they had a very good selection of books, as you can imagine. Older books, hardback books. Honestly, if I really wanted to, I could have probably got very easily twice, even 3 times the amount of books I got out of there. However, I don't want to buy too many, because I know if I buy too many, especially if they're longer books, I simply won't read them. I won't be able to get around to them, so I got 2 from there. Also, in terms of the other stuff in that, was a pretty decent antique shop as well, very good prices. The first book I got was the works of Milton. I don't know much about Milton. The only thing I know of his work is Paradise Lost, as well as the fact that he's done a lot of poems in Latin. And thankfully, because this is an older book, the Latin poems are in Latin. No translation, no kind of dual thing, just solely Latin. Which is excellent for me, because they should be fairly easy to read, especially being smaller little text. So if you're talking about 500, 600 words a poem, it'd be something good to kind of go over and over again in terms of Latin study. Yeah, here we go. Here are some of his Latin poems. I could just go through them. Some of them are longer, some of them are shorter. Yeah, here's really small ones. Of course, you have Paradise Lost, is longest and most famous work. In terms of the smaller poems, both the English ones and the Latin ones, I have absolutely no idea what's in it, but I'll look through it nonetheless. This isn't something I'll read through tomorrow, certainly not the whole work, but it'll be good to mull through, just to kind of look through it, see what's in it. It was fairly cheap anyway. The second book I got from there was oh yeah, the book in total was only 600 and something pages. Let me just check. It's 551 pages, sorry. The next one is a biography of Augustus, obviously the first Roman Emperor. Well, the book looks massive, it's actually quite short, if I can see the page count. Index, yeah, we're talking about 340 pages, so that's another one I could get through in about a week. Most of these, well, all of them are in the Milton ones, are very short books. I haven't looked through it much yet, but as I can see, it's just a kind of a biography of his life. From it, you've also got a kind of, if I can just be very gentle with this. It says Latin on it, E Latin. I've not looked at this yet. John Buchanan Augustus, is that the name of the author? The person who borrowed it. There we've got the first person to get it. December 1937. I don't know when the book was published, but that's in the actual book, not the work. Yeah, John Buchanan's the author. But yeah, first person to take it out or buy it, 1937. So I think it was bought here, and then sometimes around 1974, maybe a little later, became a library book, and then you've got 1980, 94, 97, 97, 97. Maybe during the early 2000s or the very late 90s it was bought by someone, it was took by someone. Possibly the library shut down, was kept for a few years and it's ended up in that shop. Now I've got it. So yeah, quite happy with that. Again, quite short, so I'll be able to get through it. Nothing too big. The next place I went to is actually my favourite bookshop in the city, that being not only Paisley but just Glasgow as a whole. It's an excellent shop. It's quite small, but it's really packed full of books, and there's the history section's massive, the classic section's massive. It mostly kind of focuses on history works, classical works, as well as there's some nature stuff. There's a children's section, but there's lots of older stuff like The Jungle Book, The Secret Garden, Black Beauty, kind of older children's books. So this isn't a charity shop, it's just a purely second-hand bookshop. It's named Abbey Books in Paisley. Again, in my opinion, best bookshop in Glasgow, if you count Paisley a part of it. So yeah, honestly I'd rate this one a 9 out of 10. The staff in it are also very nice. It's mostly an old man, I'd say about 70 years old or so. Very friendly, he'll show you about. If you ask him any questions, he's more than happy to answer them. But yeah, very big selection, lots of older books. That's actually where I got my first Latin book in terms of a Latin textbook. Yeah, that was the Approach to Latin Part 1 and Part 2. I got it as a series. It was only £3, so that shop's extremely cheap as well. Very cheap. Crap, I keep making mistakes. I don't know if I rated the last bookshop I went to, but I'd rate that I'd say a 7.5. The last one, not this one. This one I'm rating a 9. With that, I'll go for the books I got from it. I got 3 books. This is the most I've got from any shop, today at least. The first one is Korea, kind of history of the Korean War. Mainly focusing on America's influence in it and the beginning of America's rise to power. So yeah, I've been wanting to read newer, well not newer books necessarily, but kind of newer history subjects, because in terms of history I mostly read older stuff in terms of kind of the classics, ancient stuff. So yeah, I wanted something a bit more recent, so that'll be good. The next one I got is again more recent. The Korea one's only 310 pages. The Spanish Civil War. So again, very recent subject. I know very little about it, like the Korean War. I just know that it was fought between the kind of the right-wing faction, or the kind of Christian, somewhat fascist faction, and the communists, with the right-wing faction winning out. But other than that, I know absolutely nothing about it. So this will be really interesting. In terms of the page length, about 360 pages. A few photos as well for it. The last book I got